I do not believe people should go to college to become successful entrepreneurs. I think if you want to have a job and a career, you should go to college because you're going to get some specific skills. Let's say you want to be a doctor or a lawyer, right? Or an engineer, right? Although you can learn to code on your own, but to be an entrepreneur, it's the act of doing things, right? The difference between an entrepreneur and most people is that most people don't take any initiative, right? They might have a good idea, they might even have the skills, but they don't take the initiatives.
Yes, I do believe people should invest in educating themselves in the world of entrepreneur. And now there are actually so many courses on entrepreneurship. It's quite amazing. There's been a real influx. I think that is because the whole startup community has evolved to a point where we've seen so many successes, but we've also seen a ton of failures, right?
Well, but to be an entrepreneur, it doesn't help you. The advantage is that you have to learn how to earn a living right away, right? Because if you go to college, you can spend 4 years there, you can fool around with your friends, but if you're not going to school, and you don't want to end up at McDonald's, right? You have to figure out how to earn a living.
So another advantage of going to college, I think, is the whole the whole mentorship, right? Whether it's from someone 2 years older than you in a graduating class or a teacher. It's really important as an entrepreneur that you have both peers and mentors you can look up to, and I think that's something that you don't get if you don't go through some kind of system or introduction, or if you aren't part of a private network.
Although that's why I mentioned I do have 2 college degrees, but I don't think it has anything to do with entrepreneurs. Like if you're an entrepreneur on your own who didn't go to college, you're more inclined to switch up things faster because you need the money to come in. Right. If you're not someone who takes initiative, you can't be an entrepreneur. If you're someone who is afraid of risk, you cannot be an entrepreneur. Because to be an entrepreneur, to a certain degree, you're going off of faith.
Oh, right, sure, yeah. Schooling and college teaches you that whole teamwork aspect. So you do learn things and, skills through college or in a school environment that you don't necessarily know, and it does teach you humility as opposed to someone who's an entrepreneur and thinks they know all and thinks they know what they want and then gets in there and finds that they don't.
I agree, because it's about personal development, and this also applies to even having a job. I think Jim Rohn, who's he used to be a motivational speaker, he passed away a few years ago, he had this saying that if you work hard at your job, you make a living. If you work hard on yourself, you make a fortune, right? Because the thought process is it's about personal development, right? You have to build your skills, right? So if you're into movies, you have to become a better, let's say, camera guy or editor, a better screenwriter, a better actor. Those are skills. So if you become really good at those things, right, then you can earn more living. Education in that traditional sense, it's fine. But in terms of you getting to the next level, it's really about the education or the skills tailored for you and what it is that you want to do.
I mean, a lot of the things you learn you may never use, but I think the fundamentals are really important. And look, the whole thing of being about an entrepreneur, it's like almost the cool thing to be like, yeah, I dropped out of Stanford, I dropped out of Yale. You hear all the stories that they dropped out. Yeah, sure, they're the success stories, but you don't hear about the guys that did, or the women that did drop out and then they didn't succeed at there and they had to go back and then they had tons of debt, that to pay. So look, there's a case for both, but I think definitely my belief is get the tools, know what you want to do, and do it.